Hey everyone, today I've got your Incredibles 2 movie review. The Incredibles are out to save the world again, but was this film worth the wait to see? So as far as the story goes, Brad Bird returns to direct this sequel to the Disney Pixar film that launched its own idea about a superhero family. This movie basically starting where the last film left off, and I thought that was really cool to add the consistency instead of how some sequels nowadays are returning to a film franchise but actually having it be consistent with the time that has passed since that film came out. I mean, these movies take a long time to make anyway, but this one I would say has a pretty good story where this family had to deal with having these villains coming out of the woodwork, and they have to save the day, but then at the same time they're sort of being put out of a job because they're superheroes and nobody wants to see people in masks and capes anymore. And when they have to basically come together as an actual family, you really see that dynamic play out several times in the film, which I think is very important for a film, for families to watch nowadays in this day and age. But at the end of the day, you have to think families have to stick together no matter what. So you do have a lot of hidden messages here and there in the film, and things that you could actually, take with you and have conversations. And as far as the casting goes, you've got the return of Craig T. Nelson and Holly Hunter, who play Mr. and Mrs. Incredible, aka Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl. I really liked how they still felt like the same characters, even though they really, improved on their character development from the first film to this film. And then you've also got Samuel L. Jackson, who returns as Frozone, who I always love to see, especially since the first movie, because I think his powers are just really cool, and I like the scenes that he had in this movie. But then when it comes to the kids, I would say my standout was to see Jack Jack, which is a little tiny baby, he's so cute, and he actually gets powers in this movie, and he has a whole slew of powers. It's almost like he has a mix of everybody in the family's powers. So he only has, I think, at least one power that I noticed that I feel like was, special to him and his person, and I think it was just really cool to see him interacting with the bad guys and the family in general. And speaking of bad guys, you've got Catherine Keener, who, I thought was a pretty decent villain in this movie, and she plays the character Void, and at first I didn't know what to make of her, but then as soon as you start to watch the film and you see what this character can do, I mean, it really made for a pretty cool movie villain, especially for an animated film. And then of course you have Bob Odenkirk, who's also in this movie, and he kind of looks like his character, at least that's what I remember seeing from the promotional art. But then when I saw the film, I thought like his character was pretty funny, but maybe a little bit downplayed. The things that I liked about this movie was that, you have to love this movie for the action and adventure moments, because it really goes on and on and on, and there's just so much to see, so much that's just popping out right at you. And yeah, there were some moments where I felt like I needed to actually wear those goggles that some people were sporting in the movie, because there's like flashing lights everywhere, and you really know that this is a kids movie because there's just so much going on left and right. And it is also really funny with some of the jokes that go on in this movie, so I definitely was laughing a significant amount throughout the film. But unfortunately, the things that I didn't really like about this movie was that it was slow at times, and I think it was because I didn't realize that it did feel like a long movie, even though there were a lot of scenes that just kept going on and on and on. I wasn't as invested with the story aspect of the film so much as the action. So I think I would have loved to have cared a lot more about what was really going on, because that's what I like about these types of films, because I feel like they know how to develop a story that has these characters in it. So overall, I would say that Incredibles 2 was a pretty good outing, and I think especially coming back to these characters, I thought was really cool to see, because I know there are a lot of movies that I want to see sequels to that haven't been made yet, as far as these Disney Pixar animated films go, and hopefully I'll get to see them in the future at some point, like Toy Story 4, can't wait to see that. It's just a pretty awesome film, so, or should I say it was an incredible film. So I would highly recommend seeing this movie, whether or not you had seen the first Incredibles movie. I don't know why you haven't, but you should go see that and then see this. So I would give this 4.5 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of The Incredibles 2, and as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, come back every week for a Trail Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I will see you guys later.